only as far as Stringfellow, but Sheshoniski will get another crack at it. Here's the run from Gnarly Plant. The combination, though, of Gillies and Labno are enough to stifle her run. All things considered, as we edge towards the halftime break, you'd imagine there's a lot to like if you're Dennis Georgikopoulos, a team having been in large parts of the half on the back foot. They've had to really lean on some of their defensive qualities, but the resilience they've shown still posing an attacking threat, and of course So Ji-yoon having it all come together in this first half with those 2 goals. Now Broadbent on that pass right into the path of Dakic. That being said, though, Heidelberg will feel that the general flow of game has to change if they are to come away with a win this afternoon. They've been right on the back foot for large portions of the game. So in a similar vein, Tom Markovsky would have seen a lot that he's liked in this first half and will feel that his team are unfortunate to be behind as things stand. But if they can replicate this first half performance in the second 45, they'll be giving themselves a really good shot at taking at least 1 and possibly all 3 points. Perhaps just in the final few minutes of the half, the pressing intensity of Spring Hills inevitably reducing somewhat. Heidelberg grateful to just have a little bit more time on the ball. Sherwood Wagner looking to launch the counter, but a combination of Labno and Stringfellow are too much of an opposition, or of an obstacle rather. Once again, Spring Hills looking to launch the attack, and Alex Sinclair coming from behind and committing the foul. Or in fact, the foul has been called, for the earlier part of the play, so Spring Hills will retain possession and get another chance to send the ball towards the penalty area. Ball in deep, found the head of Wild. Still the chances alive for Spring Hills. Labno out towards Antonello. In the end, the ball skipping clear of the Spring Hills winger. You wonder how much appetite there is to get forward for Heidelberg here. That one's given away by Bidwell. Wild there to regain possession for her team, and So Ji-yoon a long way back and on the sideline as well. That ball sent in. Well, it's beaten everyone from Tobin, but Chechonitsky grateful to see it rolling wide of her post, because had it been on target, that would have been, well, a moment to forget for the Heidelberg goalkeeper. In any case, she will have this corner to deal with. Murakami for Spring Hills. Right into the heart of the box. It deflects off a couple of players. Shouts for handball as well. The referee's whistle will now come due to some concerns for a head injury. Can confirm as well that there will be 2 minutes of first half stoppage time. Well, the 2 minutes very much a minimum, and looking as if we will go well beyond that tally with some medical attention being dished out in the penalty area. Looks to be perhaps Rosie Wild, who's stayed down after that last incident. Captain back on her feet now and hopefully looking good to carry on. Heidelberg have all taken the opportunity to run towards the bench and grab a drink. Burgers not in a rush to get back into their position, it's fair to say. I think they'll very happily take the 2-1 lead into the halftime interval, all things considered. Rosie Wild still hasn't been invited back onto the pitch, so for now Heidelberg play with 10. And they may have to defend that without their captain. Ball towards Sinclair, who gave the thumbs up. She liked the idea. With Akiyama there filling in at the heart of defence, but Heidelberg grateful to see no harm coming from it. Anderson set another task. Broadbent always favoured and cleverly using her body to shepherd the ball over the line. Here's Plant for Heidelberg up towards Kerwood-Wagner. Wagner and Dakic resuming their duel, and Dakic just toe poking it into touch. So looking as if the 2-1 scoreline will hold up to the break. Those 2 goals from Soji Yoon giving the hosts the advantage. Maybe an opportunity to add a third late on, though. Still going is Kerwood-Wagner inside. And the ball towards goal, and it's gone in. Oh, can you believe it? In the dying seconds of the first half. The ball looping over Jenna Ibrahim. Rebounding off a number of legs, and, well, it's a goal of great fortune if you're Heidelberg, but they won't care. They've got 3 in this first half, and all of a sudden they're going to head into the halftime break with a comfortable cushion. For Spring Hills, it's, well, a matter of great misfortune. They've been right in this first half, arguably the better team, but they're going to go into halftime 3-1 down. And indeed, that is the halftime whistle. Well, what an extraordinary first 45 minutes of football we've seen. The goal just before the halftime whistle, meaning Heidelberg lead 3-1 at the break. Soji Yoon with a couple of goals. Spring Hills spending large portions of that half on the attack and pinning back their hosts. But they got just the 1 goal to show for it and conceded 3 at the other end. So they've got plenty that they'll need to go right in the second 45 if they are to turn this one around. At the break, though, at the home of the Matildas, scoreline reads Heidelberg 3, Spring Hills 1. Well, welcome back to the home of the Matildas. Second half underway between Heidelberg United and Spring Hills. And well, after a highly eventful first 45, which had 4 goals in it, Heidelberg scoring 3 of them, Spring Hills have themselves a mammoth task if they are to come back and get something from this game. Hopefully by now the stream is working and fully operational for you. We understand that there were some challenges in that first 40 minutes or so, but hopefully now you can see and hear everything taking place in this game. And well, if the second 45 is anywhere near as good as the first, there will be plenty to keep an eye on. There has been a halftime change for Heidelberg. Nali Plant, who I think we'll give the credit, at least for now, to for that goal just before halftime. Plenty of fortune in it. She's been withdrawn at the halftime break. And from the looks of things, it's Marika Chua who's taken her spot. And similarly for Spring Hills, looks as if they've made a change as well, with Roisin Murphy picking up that position on the left wing, taking the place of Olivia Anderson. So a change for both teams. Fairly straightforward swap for Tom Markovsky and his Spring Hills team, with Murphy taking up the space vacated by Anderson. Murphy, the player, joining from Alamein, where she played last season. Certainly been around the traps for a while in NPLW Victoria now. Roisin Murphy could be on the end of this through ball, but in the end it's far too skinny, and clever first touch from Rosie Wild takes her clear. Meanwhile, from the looks of things, Marika Chua has assumed a position in central midfield. Now they plan spending that first half on the left flank, really, so perhaps Teodora Juric pushing forward into more of a number 9 position with Kerwood Wagner and Soji Yoon on either flank for Heidelberg. Ball sent forward, cleared by Minori Akiyama. Only as far as Aubrey Labno for Spring Hills. Now Sasaki for the Burgers. Picks out Soji Yoon. Turns into a little bit of space, the Heidelberg forward. Spreading it to a partner in crime in Sam Kerwood Wagner. Maybe a first look for Juric, but Labno doing enough to send it away for a throw-in. A little bit of concern on that far side as Aya Sasaki appearing a little bit worse for wear. Some uncertainty as to whether the medic would be called onto the pitch, and Aya Sasaki in the nick of time saying that she's all good to keep on going without any attention. So Heidelberg will resume play with the throw. This one's taken short to Juric. It's put into the path of Kerwood Wagner, but there's a strong claim from Jenna Ibrahim, the goalkeeper's first involvement of this second 45. And restarts play quickly with Antonello. Antonello and Gillies exchange. Mahason stepping out of the back line, but committing the foul on the Spring Hills forward, Suzu Murakami. That ball forward is, well, it's a direct approach, and had Sinclair and Murakami either side of the drop of the ball. But in the end, very cleverly navigated by the Heidelberg skipper, Rosie Wild, who's been one of their most important contributors in the game up to this point. Antonello now for Spring Hills. The cross inside beats just about everyone, but Bidwell sending it clear of Murphy. Heidelberg, as a reminder, still hunting down their first win of the 2026 season. They have the 3 points to their name from their opening 5 fixtures. But it is getting to the point where they really need to start stringing together some wins, or at least getting their first one before the rest of the competition puts too much distance between themselves and the reigning premiers. Heidelberg, team we expect to benefit, as they usually do, from some A-League recruits late in the campaign. So definitely need to be right in contention by the time that happens, if they are to once again find themselves competing for major honours. And well, for Spring Hills, they'll need to continue the prolific scoring that they've managed over the last couple of weeks if they are to take something from this game. Here's Antonello looking to start that comeback. Underlapping run comes from Gillies. Antonello says, "I'll go myself." Slip at an inopportune moment, and that allows Chua to send it away rather, for a throw-in. Sinclair with the turn. Still Alex Sinclair. Wonderful delivery. Shouts for handball. Bella Stringfellow. Spring Hills pull one back. Bella Stringfellow adds her name to the score sheet. Well, a peculiar celebration has been brought out as well. Credit goes to Alex Sinclair for her work in the build-up. Well, Bella Stringfellow will remember the goal. I think many of us still occupied by the celebration in the aftermath. In any case, it's a goal for Spring Hills. 3-2 now the score, and there is plenty of time left in this one for a potential equaliser for the visitors. That goal, Bella Stringfellow's first of the season. She's been an important cog in the Spring Hills machine in this game so far. It's attacking runs from midfield, causing some headaches for the Burgers backline. Now Murakami up again towards Antonello, but this time it'll fall favourably for Broadbent. Sends it quickly towards Soji Yoon. Yoon with the first time cross, deep towards Sasaki. Just over the head of the midfielder, though, so Spring Hills can now launch their own counter. Murakami's touch, intercepted by Chua. Now Bidwell tries the quick 1-2 with Jurich. It's floated out to that right-hand side with Kerwood Wagner, more central at the moment. Throw does go back towards Theodora Juric, but too much power on the throw. So Spring Hills will restart play with the goal kick. Clever turn there from Akiyama. Had about 3 Spring Hills players around her and somehow navigated into some space. Well, this game did promise some excitement considering the goal-scoring inclinations of both of these teams over the last few weeks. Well, thankfully, from a neutral perspective, we've got a really cracking game of attacking football. Spring Hills once again, multiple goals to their name. Sinclair with the challenge on Wild. And still running is Alex Sinclair, hunting down Alyssa Chechelnitsky. Bidwell losing out, that time to Murphy. Dakic and Murakami exchange. And the attempted first-time ball forward from Broadbent. Finds its way all the way through to the Spring Hill shot stopper. Mentioned the number of goals that Spring Hills have been scoring in recent weeks. The 4 goals last week, 6 the week prior. More than they scored in any individual game in the whole of their first campaign in NPLW Victoria last season. That ball through coming off Hasten, so Spring Hills have themselves a corner. Chance once again for Suzu Murakami to deliver. Players crowding around Chechelnitsky, making life very uncomfortable for the goalkeeper. It's taken short instead and directed towards goal. The follow-up for Antonello, cleared off the line, and Bidwell trying to get as much meterage as possible. Well, Spring Hills coming desperately close to an equaliser. Fell for Daniela Tobin, whose shot was on target and awkward for Heidelberg. The follow-up from Antonello just cleared away. Shout you might have just heard there from Heidelberg coach Dennis Georgakopoulos of Irena, calling for his number 7, Irena Razumich, who looks as if she'll be introduced into this game. Player who made a number of starts right at the beginning of the season and will now have a chance to impact from the bench. First, though, her team will have some more defending to do. That one was more straightforward for Rosie Wild. Quick exchange with Sasaki. And now Akiyama. Stepping through the midfield and setting Soji Yuna task. Natasha Dakic, though, always likely to deal with that one comfortably. It's a really strong turn from Murakami. Spotted Antonello in space. The ball will stay in play. Antonello's cross towards the back post. Almost falling into the path of Roisin Murphy. Instead retreats to De Silva. Could still work out for Spring Hills. Tobin charges into the box. And referee not interested in the half-hearted appeals for a penalty. And with that, the change will now come for Heidelberg. Irena Razumich taking the place of Teodora Juric. Once again, that one very nearly favouring Lauren Antonello. They really do look so potent at the moment, Spring Hills. Heidelberg right under the cosh. For what it's worth, the 2 goals that they've scored in this game have taken their season's tally to 14, which after 5.5 or a bit over 5.5 games is a very decent tick. But when you consider as well last season, they only managed 31 goals across the whole 22 game league season. They only need another couple and they'll be over halfway there. Just 6 games into this year. Tells you that they are a team possessing much more firepower this season compared to last Spring Hills. Even without Margot Clark, they're still really troubling defences at this level. Here's a chance for Razumich. Chua in towards the area, but Ibrahim charged off her line and makes the strong claim. That one tough to control for Murphy, so Heidelberg will be allowed to control some of the territory for just about the first time in this second half. I mean, the good news for Heidelberg, as well as the fact that they are still ahead, is we did see a bit in that first half that as the half wore on and the energy that Spring Hills brought ever so slightly dissipated, things became a little bit more comfortable for the Burgers and they were able to strike late to grab that third goal. Third goal, which is looking very valuable at the moment. Here's Wild. So Ji-yoon turns inside, met by Stringfellow. Now De Silva. 1-2 with Sinclair. Hayson charging across, but still going is De Silva. And Tonello's there in the box, but Maya Hayson recovering. And well, the experienced Maya Hayson very much making amends, having lost out in that initial duel with Chelsea De Silva. De Silva, who's remaining higher up the pitch in that left winger position, with Roisin Murphy slotting in at left fullback for the moment. Now Kerwood Wagner leads Dakic to the ball, but with Antonello's help, Spring Hills have the ball back. Chance for Murakami. Inboard towards De Silva. Well, it was set up perfectly for her. Just missed timing the swing at the ball. It's been an eventful couple of minutes for Chelsea De Silva. Back into the starting 11 for this afternoon's game. And just there had a fantastic look at bringing Spring Hills level. Do you get the sense, though, that it won't be the last look that Spring Hills get? They've been knocking on the Heidelberg defensive door more or less from the first minute of this game. Sinclair making life uncomfortable for Hayson, the reigning gold medalist. Wild gets there in time to send it clear. Alex Sinclair, of course, the gold medal winner of last season, or joint gold medal winner. Continuing to have such a significant influence, even at this stage of her career. Now 38 years old, Alex Sinclair. That one was awkward for the Spring Hills backline. Marika Chua mistiming her swing. Tobin was there in front of Chua, and in the end, with the support of her defensive line, Spring Hills able to regain possession. They've coughed it up again, though. Chua sends it up towards Razumich. Labno taking no chances, but it could fall towards Soji Yoon. She's gone down, and Heidelberg have themselves a penalty. Well, Spring Hills will be asking themselves, how many times can it happen? They control the play, they get the goal, and then Heidelberg go down the other end and will have themselves a golden chance to restore the 2-goal lead. Soji Yoon has the 2 first-half goals, wins the penalty, but won't be the one to take it. Aya Sasaki instead with the responsibility, that presumably the agreed-upon penalty taker. Not a chance for Soji Yoon to make it a hat-trick in this game, but Aya Sasaki with a chance to restore Heidelberg's 2-goal lead. It's Sasaki, 4-2 Heidelberg, sends the keeper the wrong way and slots it in the bottom left corner. And with that, the Burgers once again, just when they're under the cosh and you wonder if their lead might be given away, they find a way to do some damage at the other end. That goal, Sasaki's 3rd of the season. She's made a really positive impact on this Heidelberg team. And well, for Spring Hills, they'll have to get their heads down and go again. Once more, a 2-goal deficit to overcome. Throw taken by Gillies towards Sinclair. Well, you have to wonder whether that real gut punch of a 4th Heidelberg goal will take the steam out of the Spring Hills endeavour. They've been relentless and rebounded really well to each of the setbacks they faced in this game. But at this stage, having put out as much as they have to get themselves in a position to take something from this game, we're now halfway through the second 45. And they'll need a lot to go right in the remainder of this contest if they are to rescue something. That could start here, though. Sinclair has the run from Murphy inside. Sinclair says, I'll do it myself. Was met, though, by Rosie Wild. So often she's been there in the right position. For a team that's conceded 2 goals, you don't often think that the most valuable players would be at the back, but Rosie Wild has been just about everywhere for Heidelberg this afternoon. Here's De Silva. Murakami. Reverse pass. Favours Antonello. Looks central. Stringfellow was there, but unable to get a boot on it or direct the ball towards goal. Well, the calls from Dennis Georgakopoulos in the Heidelberg technical area, urging his players on to the press. But not many able to oblige. Arena Razumich, player with the freshest legs, was able to apply a little bit of pressure, but not with a great deal of support from the rest of her team. From the looks of things, Spring Hills readying Talisa Soto to try and give themselves another attacking element in search of a way back into this game yet again. That ball will favour Marika Chua, and she'll happily watch it roll out for a throw-in. And with that, the change will be made. It's the end of the afternoon for Suzu Murakami. Player brought into the 11 this afternoon, having scored those 2 goals off the bench last time out. No doubting her endeavour, and she was able to bring some real quality in the front third for Spring Hills this afternoon. But her race is run. And a chance for Soto to do some damage for Spring Hills from the bench. Here are the two substitutes. Murphy trying to return the favour to Soto, but instead setting up the Heidelberg counter-attack. So Ji-yoon Dakic did enough to force her to retreat. Now Akiyama all the way back to Annalee Bidwell. Kerwood Wagner looking to turn Murphy and does so to good effect. Still Kerwood Wagner. That challenge had to be perfect from Aubrey Labno, and indeed it was. And the end result is a Heidelberg corner, which Aya Sasaki trudges over to take. Sent deep into the box, right on the head of Ibrahim. Referee picking out a foul somewhere amongst the massive bodies, so that makes things just a little bit easier for Spring Hills, even if Ibrahim, well, looked to have claimed the ball fairly comfortably in any case. Soto coughing up possession. Kerwood Wagner flashes a shot over the crossbar. A fifth goal for Heidelberg would surely seal the points. The 2-goal deficit just can't quite feel comfortable if you're aligned with the home team this afternoon. That was well done by Stringfellow through the legs of an opponent. Now Sinclair towards Antonello. Guess who? Rosie Wild. Maya Hasten inviting a little bit more pressure, and in the end forced to concede the corner. Well, Rachel Gillies has already contributed heavily to one of Spring Hill's goals from this corner. That one had plenty of a whip on it, but too much power and depth as well, so it beats all of her teammates and will roll, in fact, out for a throw-in. Gillies with the in-swinging deliver in the first half was able to bring Spring Hills level initially after Soji Yoon's opener. Plenty of water under the bridge since then. Spring Hills still fighting and clawing for a way back into this one. Broadbent beats Antonello to it, but Antonello will be given another opportunity. Chua closing down the space. Now Razumic's pass just towards space. De Silva picking up the loose ball. And the offside flag will curtail the latest Spring Hills attack. Roisin Murphy just going a little bit too early. This game, the fourth chronologically of the weekend in the Senol NPLW Victoria competition. A couple of games last night as we see Antonello resuming her battle with Broadbent. Broadbent trying to clear it from the ground, but missed with her swing, and Gillies playing it off Rosie Wild. But those couple of games last night, seeing both Box Hill and Alamein walking away with commanding wins, which send both of those teams towards the upper echelon of the ladder. Melbourne City and Keilor Park, the game which kicked off over an hour before this one, and Essendon Royals and Avondale closing out the Saturday of action. That game at half-time at the moment. Another corner delivery for Spring Hills. It's just about everyone. Loose ball picked up by Daniela Tobin. Sinclair spreads to Gillies. And Tonello back towards her captain. Sliding challenge comes in. Referee happy for Irina Razovic to continue. And she then won the ball, the Heidelberg substitute. So Ji-yoon out towards Kerwood Wagner. Heidelberg hunting for that fifth goal. Back to Razovic. Now Broadbent goes with the first time cross, but no one there to pick it up in the box for the Burgers. So now Roisin Murphy leads the charge for Spring Hills. So Ji-yoon had one intention and one only as she sends the ball well over the fence. Just updating you from around the grounds in NPLW Victoria this afternoon. Can confirm that it was Melbourne City who got the better of the clash against Keilor Park earlier this afternoon down at Casey Fields. Meanwhile, Essendon Royals and Avondale, that game is in fact not yet at the halftime break. A bit of a delayed start there, but it's the Royals leading the Avengers 2-0. So looking like a very impressive result thus far for the home teams across NPLW Victoria this afternoon. Heidelberg will be hoping that their name will remain on that list. As things stand, their 4-2 advantage will be a first win of the season, and one which would jump them up above Keilor Park and Preston, and probably up into 9th position. As things stand, the Essendon Royals moving clear of them with the win over Avondale, but that one still has plenty of time to play. If Heidelberg were to go on and secure this win, up on 6 points, 4 behind Spring Hills, who still occupy 4th as things stand. So it's a long season, and Heidelberg will be well on their way to another finish nearer the topper end if they're able to string together a few decent results. More immediately, though, they'll have to see out the last just over 10 minutes of the 90 here, plus however much stoppage time there will be. Both teams readying further substitutions. And really similar to the first half, it does feel as if some of the Spring Hills intensity has understandably dropped. Tough to maintain what they were putting out for so much of the first half, and indeed the start of the second. Here's Sasaki from a long way out, but right down the throat of Ibrahim. From the looks of things, Heidelberg getting ready to bring on Alyssa Salacey and Bridget Murray. Whilst for Spring Hills, it's Samira Rajepi who's standing on the sideline, ready to make her mark, and she will do so now, taking the place of Chelsea De Silva. Really solid performance from the youngster out wide, both at fullback and on the wing. Will be Rajepi, the player recruited from Brunswick Juventus, who will seek to contribute to a late Spring Hills comeback. Cross inside, unable to be controlled by Tobin. And so Alyssa Chechelnitsky will very gratefully collapse onto that ball before sending it as far as she can upfield. Well controlled by Dakic, but only into the path of Wild. This is Kerwood Wagner. Cut out by Bella Stringfellow, whose goal at the start of this half feeling a long time ago now for Spring Hills. Heidelberg dugout baying for the referee to allow them to make their substitutions, but instead play will continue. This is Murphy. Went herself and sent the cross in, only to be met by Wild. Once again the delivery, this one a little bit more promising, but Chechelnitsky there to make the claim. Maybe a chance here for the substitute. Rajepi trying to steal in behind Maya Hasten, and now these substitutions will finally be made by Heidelberg. So it's Addison Broadbent who will make her way and be withdrawn, as well as So Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon, a fantastic performance, 2 goals opening her Heidelberg account. And it is indeed Bridget Murray who's brought into the game alongside Alyssa Salesi, as Heidelberg looks to see out the final minutes of this one. Looking ahead to next weekend for both of these teams, Heidelberg featuring on what will really be a super Saturday of action in Senol NPLW Victoria. 6 games to take place across the state. Next Saturday, Heidelberg with one of the tougher assignments, as that ball in is comfortably taken by Chechelnitsky. But the Burgers will head to Dorothy Laver West to take on Alamein. So that'll be a real test of their level at the moment, taking on John Kyrgios's team, who continue to pick up wins and also just don't seem to concede goals. Whilst for Spring Hills, they're back to Springside Recreational Reserve. They're not featuring on the Saturday slate of fixtures. They're in action next Friday night when they'll welcome South Melbourne. So another real tough assignment for Spring Hills as they creep towards what is looking like will be a defeat. Be just their second of the season if they're unable to turn things around late. One of those losses that Tom Markovsky will feel is somewhat unjust. His team gave plenty this afternoon and more than troubled the Heidelberg team throughout the day. Is there to be a late surge for Spring Hills? Hoping to lead it was Tobin. Cut out by Hayson. And now Sinclair sees Antonello on the right. It's a tired through ball though. Czejanitsky just inviting some of the pressure from Antonello and threading the needle perfectly as she sends it out towards halfway. Throw taken short for Rajepi. Inside though, the little touch from Kerwood Wagner, and Akiyama doing enough. Using Chua, and now Sasaki back to the halftime substitute, Marika Chua. Salesi uses Razumich. Clever exchange before eventually getting out to Kerwood Wagner on the right. Turns onto her left, Sam Kerwood Wagner firing the shot at goal, but well positioned as ever was Aubrey Labno. She might have to do some more defensive work, and indeed she sends the ball clear. Dakic a long way out of her defence, hoping to contribute to a quick counter-attack. There are some tired legs out there, but Alex Sinclair has not given up hope. It's a clever pass for Antonello. The offside flag, though, means that Antonello's finish won't count. It ended up in the back of the net, but will make no difference to the score. Was that their last real clean look, Spring Hills, getting back into this game? Chance now for Heidelberg to make another substitution. Shaila Bala-Atelli, who will be introduced for the final few minutes, take the spot of Aya Sasaki, whose penalty in this second half has gone a long way to reassuring the Heidelberg nerves. And Bala-Atelli featuring again at this level, made her senior NPLW debut last season against Spring Hills. And now we'll play the final few minutes of this one as her team creep towards their first 3 points of the 2026 season. Final minute of the 90. Spring Hills. It's getting into now or never territory. Soto. Clever enough up towards Tobin. Quickly restarted by Stringfellow. Nice first touch from Murphy. Cross inside towards Antonello. Instead, Sinclair. Well, the veteran was popping up out the back of the pack. Had the time and space to fire a decent shot, but ultimately too far wide. And Heidelberg now will feel like they're just about there. We'll soon find out how much second half stoppage time there will be. And confirmation that it's 4 more minutes to be played. So a goal every couple of minutes, the required response from Spring Hills. But understandably, most of the players out there on the park looking out off their feet. It's been a thrilling game of football. Everyone in attendance and joining on the stream will certainly feel like they've been entertained for the last 90 plus minutes. And as Rosie Wild positions herself ahead of Alex Sinclair, prompts the referee's whistle again. And while the player with the armband just looking a little bit uncomfortable with the way that she went to ground there. But does indeed get back to her feet, and would be a real shame after the game that she's had if she's unable to continue, Rosie Wild, but it'll take more than that to force the Burgers skipper out of things. Hasten out towards Razumich, looking to turn Gillies. Run back by Talisa Soto. Dennis Georgikopoulos, the Heidelberg coach, still urging his team on to make things difficult for Spring Hills in their back line. And in the end, that pressure was enough to make the forward delivery somewhat scrappy. Wild back to Chechelnitsky. And Bella Stringfellow wasting no time restarting play. Spring Hills, as mentioned, have that game against South Melbourne next weekend before they head to Wembley Park to take on Box Hill. So a couple of really tough fixtures before the Easter break for Spring Hills, and real opportunities to test their level against teams we anticipate will be at or near the top of the ladder come the end of the season. And whilst they'll come away with nothing in terms of points from today, they've proven they're more than a match for teams like Heidelberg. Whilst for the Burgers, after that trip to Alamein, their final game before the Easter break, they're back at Olympic Village where they'll host Bulleen. So both of these teams have a couple of difficult assignments to go before the first interval of the season. But both will take plenty from this game for different reasons. For Heidelberg, a first 3 points, going a long way to kick-starting their campaign. Regepi trying to cause some jeopardy late on. Still going, Samira Regepi, and almost teeing up Antonello. Could fall for Talisa Soto. And the challenge coming out from Marika Chua means that Spring Hills will have a free kick from a tantalising position. Just a handful of metres out from the penalty area. As we tick into the 95th minute, so this likely the final act of this game. A chance maybe for Alex Sinclair to provide herself a little bit of consolation in conversation with Aubrey Labno. Sinclair leaving it for Labno. Labno fires towards goal. The wall doing its job. And Alyssa Chechelnitsky claims. Referee happy for play to continue for a little bit longer. Heidelberg with not a whole lot of interest in playing much more. And indeed, the final whistle does come. It's a first win of the season for Heidelberg United. The reigning premiers getting it done in a real tough fixture against a Spring Hill side who offered plenty and will feel like on another day they could more than have deserved a point or even 3. They had the Burgers on the back foot for large portions of this game, but ultimately it was Heidelberg who took their chances when they arose. So Ji-yoon with the 2 goals, doing most of the heavy lifting, whilst Nali Plant and Aya Sasaki also getting their name on the score sheet. For Spring Hills, it was a Rachel Gillies corner, their only goal in the first half, before Bella Stringfellow revived their hopes early in the second, but in the end unable to overcome the 4 scored by Heidelberg United this afternoon. So for the Burgers, they head into the final 2 weeks before the Easter break with their first set of 3 points of the campaign. They'll hope to build on that. Spring Hills still looking like a really cracking team who will cause plenty of trouble for opposition in the Senol NPLW Victoria this season. That's all the time we have, though, from the home of the Matildas. Full-time score, Heidelberg United 4, Spring Hills 2.